It's Kirsch and Emyle, New Country. Fewer commercials, New Country 103.9. What are you laughing at?
Ever scary movie?
No, that's from Bud Light commercials back in the day.
Okay. They make fun of it though in Scary Movie, and that's how I know about it.
This song got me, by the way, through sixth grade.
Aww.
Young MC, Bust a Move.
Love that for you.
Me, my Walkman, and some young MC. All right, so Emily, you got a phone call a little while ago, and I'll tell you what, a phone call at 5:55 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever it is, it's for us, it's not really that out of the ordinary because we're up early, but it was from your husband, right?
Yeah, so my husband takes my son to work with him every morning, right?
Yeah.
And because childcare is expensive.
Oh yeah.
And so he just called me, and obviously my first thought is, oh my gosh, something happened because it's 6 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah.
And no. Do you want to know what he told me?
What? Oh no.
Can you please take my Red Bull Yeti container out of your car before you go anywhere later when I come stop back at home? And I'm like,
6 o'clock in the morning, he's calling you to take his Yeti out of the car.
Yes. He said, you couldn't just text me that. And he's like, well, I'm driving with our son. And I'm like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you got to work, you literally could not just text me that.
In his defense, I'm a guy, he's a guy. By the time he gets to work, he'll forget to tell you.
He said that. And I said, why don't you just tell Siri to remind you?
That's a nice thought.
But I mean, come on.
That's a really nice thought. No,
oh my goodness.
That kind of brings the question up. How early, at what time frame do phone calls freak you out? Is it midnight to 6 a.m.? Is it because nobody calls during those hours. Nobody calls me anyhow. They all just text or whatever, but.
Anytime because no one calls anymore.
That's true. If it's a phone call from my mom, I'm like, okay, mom's calling or whatever. If it's a phone call from my dad, that's bad.
Yeah.
My dad doesn't make phone calls.
I'm just going to say you can still have your phone on Do Not Disturb and have certain people call you and get through.
That's the way my phone's set up.
Yeah. Well, I have friends that are like, oh, I just don't put it on silent. I'm like, I don't feel bad then if I text you at 3 a.m. with a random thought.
Yes.
Because that's your phone.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing.
Because we're up at weird hours.
Yeah. And I don't want to forget my thought.
Can't believe he called you to say that you need to take his Yeti cup out of your car. Why can't he take it out later?
I know, right? And I was like, yeah, when I get home, I will try to remember.
I'll tell you why he can't take it out later. Because if he leaves it up to himself, he knows himself well enough as a guy that he will not remember to take it out later. And it will ruin his whole day.
You know what? I'm just thankful nothing bad happened, but I'm sure it's very relatable to some people.
Well, I'm glad we gave you the chance to vent about this because it's apparently good for you. Kirsch and Emyle, New Country, fewer commercials, New Country 103.9. I'm really excited you got the chance to vent just a little while ago, Emily, about your husband calling at 6 a.m. and freaking you out.
Do you remember last week we read a story like it's better to meditate than vent?
I do remember that. And I was like, that's BS. I don't believe it.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I can never meditate. I would just think too much. But now there's another study that it's okay to go ahead and vent, which is the right way, I'm assuming.
I feel like it. It's like, look, if something's bothering you, meditating, I think if you meditate, you're just going to sit there and think about it and get madder.
Yes. And it's funny. I actually just told my friend the other day, I said, you need to stop projecting all of this onto your significant other, and you need to just write it down in a journal or on your phone and just erase it after.
Is this
because
Betty?
Then you're done.
Betty?
Yes, it's Betty. Of course it's Betty.
Oh, I love Betty.
Yes,
if you haven't heard us talk about Emily's friend Betty, that's not her name, but that's what we've named her. And she is just entertaining.
I love her so much. I really do. We all have that one friend.
This one, you just sent it over my screen. It says venting about your friends, family, or coworkers is more than just a way to blow off steam. This study from UCLA found that venting just isn't about emotional release. It's actually a means of boosting your social status. For example, when you complain about one friend to another, you may be unconsciously trying to make yourself look better, as well as strengthening your bond with the listener. Researchers found across several experiments that venting consistently led to listeners liking the venter more than the target of their venting. Wow.
Yeah, I really never thought of it that scientifically. I'm just like, I'm going to tell you how I feel because I've already told the person how I feel.
See,
to make sure I'm not crazy.
Just hurt myself. I don't know if you heard that. Wow. So here's what I worry about with that. So, venting to one friend about another, I think that causes trust issues.
Oh, whenever I vent to one friend about another, I'm always like, no, I'm honest with that person. I've already told them this. I want to just make sure I'm not the crazy one.
Okay, good.
Yes, I always ask for the opinion. And if I am crazy, please tell me.
You're a very trustworthy venter. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Yes, I am. Can I have that as a sticker?
Yes. Emily's got your Hump Day Hoedown. There's a lot of happening. A lot happens.
I know you're just tripping up because you're excited about this one. Tomorrow, don't forget, Dolly Parton is launching her new brand, Dolly Beauty. And the first release is a Heaven's Kiss lipstick collection.
Oh, how old is Dolly now?
I am afraid to look.
I'm going to look while you go through some of these stories. But Dolly is just the most wonderful person. I don't know anybody that isn't like, oh, Dolly.
No. Lainey Wilson is returning to Yellowstone when it starts airing again in November, and you can apply to be an extra alongside her if you'll be in Texas next month.
There you go. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yes, but here's the thing. I asked my husband, I said, is she even a big part? And he was like, I don't think so. But you know what? Good for her. That's all that matters.
I've never watched it. Dolly's 78, by the way. God bless her.
Never would have thought that. Thomas Rhett sat down for an interview on mental health and said one of the biggest battles of his career was when people hated on his second album for not being country enough.
I didn't know people hated on that.
I know. And also, like, you don't think it's country enough, just don't listen to it.
Wait, which songs came off his second album? Was it like T-Shirt and Unforgettable and those songs?
I'm double checking because I had that.
I don't know which song.
Tangled Up, yes, it is. Yeah,
Singles You Up?
Man. Yeah. Die a Happy Man was my wedding song, and I'm calling that country. So
you know what? Here's the thing. Anybody who's ragging on Thomas Rhett for not being country enough, dude's been on tour, dude's selling a bunch of records, dude's stuff is all over country radio. I think he's doing okay. Shut your mouth. Just let him do his thing.
You're not an expert.
He's richer than you.
And most importantly, Post Malone's new album came out Friday. He also dropped that he has a Long Bed, which is a deluxe version with 9 more tracks. And this album is amazing. It's literally like, he's the smartest person I know to team up with all these country stars.
10 years ago, would you have ever thought we'd be talking about Post Malone's new country album?
You know what? It's funny you say that because, okay, this wasn't 10 years ago, but in 2015, he said, before I'm 30, I'm going to become a country singer.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And he's 29 now. So, like, I like when people manifest those dreams and make it happen.
It's not manifesting. It's setting goals and going after
he manifested it. It happened.
Okay, whatever. We're going to play some of his new stuff. Post.
So good.
Emily, I saw an interview with Hardy not too long ago, and somebody asked him if his glasses are real or if they're just like a fake fashion statement or whatever.
They look really real.
He took them off and let the guy try them on. He's like, you tell me if they're real. And apparently he's got horrendous vision. Yeah,
I can tell by looking at the glasses.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, they look awesome on him. But yeah, he can't see at all.
It's like, do you think he wouldn't do LASIK or something if he thinks it would work?
Maybe he couldn't. I don't know. I want to see if you'd live in this house. So there's a neighborhood in Texas. This is just really bizarre to me. You know, they build houses different around the country. Here it's all wood construction. Down in Florida, it's all concrete because of hurricanes and everything. Well, there's now a community of houses near Austin, Texas that is nearly complete. The community features 100 homes, all crafted by a massive 3D printer. Would you live in a 3D printed house?
I don't think so.
So it says the printer can build a house measuring 3,000 square feet with very little human supervision. It follows a blueprint and builds the basic shell of a home, and then once the printing process is finished, human builders take over and finish off the windows, doors, roof, and anything else required to turn it into a modern home. It seems weird to me.
I'm good. I'm good with my homes that are built this way, the old-fashioned way.
Have you ever used a 3D printer for anything?
Nope. They seem really neat, don't get me wrong. I just don't think I want to live in a home made by one.
Like, they do seem really cool, and I've never in my life been around one or seen it 3D print something, or I've never held anything that was 3D printed.
Is everything 3D printed like really expensive?
I don't know. It doesn't say how much these houses are, but I don't think I'd live in it.
Oh, I'm good.
I'm just like a big old redneck with a hammer putting my house together with nails and boards and everything else the way it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
The more redneck or Amish, the better.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's trustworthy.
Right, exactly. 3D printed
sure.
houses in Texas. New country, fewer commercials. New country 103.9. This came up. We're going to start doing the internet debate of the week. Things are being talked about online, and we just want to discuss our viewpoints on them. And this one was the first one we came across that, we didn't come across this. Talk about how this came up, Emily.
You were telling me a story about your friend who you were discussing with that is digital cheating. Is it still cheating? And actually, I do see this on the internet a lot, especially on Reddit.
So digital cheating, Reddit is a wild place. Digital cheating. So basically what? Chatting with someone
online, but they're not actually they've never met them, or, just maybe talking to an ex or something, flirty text, stuff like that.
Okay, so it's got to be not just like talking to somebody or chatting with somebody, but DMs. Sliding into DMs. There you go. So sliding into somebody's DMs, is it cheating or not if you never meet them in person? I say, look, if it's completely innocuous, like completely innocent, just two people talking about something, me with a coworker, an ongoing conversation or whatever, or somebody that I've become friends with at work who's of the opposite sex, let's say. I think that's perfectly fine. I mean, it's like you and me. We talk. We text all day long. Perfectly fine. But when it goes flirty and weird, cheating.
Exactly. I agree with you on that one because you don't need to. Just don't be with the person if you're not gonna be with them, is what I'm trying to say.
How do you think people justify it? Because I know people. I was talking to a friend of mine who was like, oh yeah, I talked to this girl. She's from, I forget where he said she was from. And I'm like, wait, you talk to her? He's like, yeah, but it's just chat.
See, I just feel like the minute it becomes flirty or any winky face, can't wait to see you, or, can't wait to hear from you. Something like that. Yeah, no, it's done.
The winky face.
Yeah, the winky face.
As soon as you use the winky face, it's all over.
Done. Yes.
All right, I can get behind that for sure. Yeah, I agree. It's cheating.
I just could never be okay with that because it would be in the back of my mind all the time. Who are they talking to?
Yeah.
But the people who defend it.
There are people that defend it. I mean, there's a lot of people who say, hey, if it doesn't go physical, it's not cheating. And I'm like, nah, I don't think that's right.
No, it's not. But you know what? Look at us agreeing on something.
Yay, us. All right. So, Emily, you said there's a thread you came across that said start a fight in 5 words or less. And you think that you can start a fight with me in 5 words or less. And I can't wait to hear how that goes. Kirsch and Emyle, New Country, fewer commercials, New Country 103.9. Oh, okay. Hit me with these.
Left-handed people drive better, obviously.
Left-handed people drive better. That's 5 words. Okay. Okay, whatever. I don't believe it. We've all heard about how you drive, and you admitted to being left-handed, so false.
You ready? The moon landing was staged. This one I do not believe. Let me just disclaim that.
There are so many people that believe this.
But that riles you up because I have mentioned it from people before to you, and you get very defensive about it.
Look, back in the day, I had actually met Neil Armstrong, and dude shook my hand and told me about the moon landing. And I have to believe someone who was there over the internet conspiracies.
Kenny Chesney sucks.
That's 3 words, and they're wrong.
It says 5 words or less.
Yeah, they're wrong.
Pineapple belongs on every pizza.
No, not every pizza. Some pizzas, but not every pizza. See, I'm just fighting back.
Coffee is better without sugar.
Sometimes. I'll get behind that sometimes. Sometimes what was that last one? Don't say that ever again. What was it?
Urban sucks.
Turning off your microphone. You are just starting fights. I have 5 words. I have 5 words that will start a fight with any woman.
Oh gosh.
Well.
Yeah.
Ooh. How? Okay. I just thought of another one. Okay, let's start with the first one. Ready?
Yep.
You're acting like your mother.
Yep.
Has your husband ever used that one?
No, but he has started to tell my mother on me.
Well, that's you're acting like your mother. That's 5 words. How about this one? You need to calm down.
Yeah, no, that will start a fight. For sure.
What would you do if he said that to you? Emily, you need to calm down.
Yes, before. It just makes me more upset. I know.
Oh, gosh.
I won the argument, just to let you know.
Well, of course you did, because he told you to calm down. That is commonly known as like Dude 101 do nots.
You know, if I remember correctly, we asked for advice on our wedding day, and you could have written that down. Don't ever tell a woman to calm down.
5 words to start a fight right there. You need to calm down. Kirsch and Emyle, New Country, fewer commercials, New Country 103.9. So do you lurk or do you post online, Emily? Which one, which behavior are you usually?
I'm a lurker, honestly.
So you don't ever post?
I mean, I post, yes, of course I do, but I lurk more. Like, I'm not one to leave mean comments, if that's what you're wondering.
Well, no, not so much that, but like there are a lot of people who like to post, right? I post every now and then. I post more on Instagram than anything.
I post more stories than I do not like on my feed.
Right, okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Do you think people are meaner than they used to be in comments on social media?
Yes, and here's my thing. Just be a normal person. DM your friend your mean thought. You don't need to comment it.
What about in groups? It drives me crazy when people are in groups, especially large groups of, 30, 40, 50,000 people, and they think that everyone needs to know their thoughts when really they don't.
I feel like you're talking about certain Disney groups for some reason.
Well, no, it's all groups. I mean, big groups are that way. I'm not even in any Disney groups, but I'm sure it happens on there.
Yeah, can't you just screenshot and send to your friend and say, can you believe this?
Right.
Just be normal.
That's the way to do
nice.
it. People are meaner on social media. Which social media do you think is the nicest and which is the meanest?
Meanest is Facebook, hands down.
I think it's Reddit. I'm going to call Reddit social media. And Reddit.
Okay, no, you're right. But Reddit, because they're anonymous and no one knows who they are.
Right.
Unless they have their name, but that's just on them. It's just, you're right. Reddit does count. Okay, so Reddit, then Facebook. Honestly, Instagram, I feel like is like going to be the safe zone, maybe.
It sort of is, actually, it was really
that too, actually, now that I think about
funny.
it.
I have to go back. You texted me. Was it a text you sent me the other day?
What was it about?
Was that you that sent that to me about the different social medias? It was like
yes, that's on Instagram.
It was on it. I have to go back. I'm going to pull that up right now.
I just sent you stuff so I can remind myself to talk to you about it later.
Emily sent me this on Instagram, and it's so true. It says TikTok will make you feel like you're living your whole life wrong. Instagram will make you feel out of shape and poor, and that's why I stick with Facebook, the ghetto.
Well, I mean, again, where was the lie in that?
It's so true. Facebook, the ghetto.
I mean, and it's always like, are you going to really be that confrontational in person? Probably not.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right, there you go. It's Kirsch and Emily. Chime in if you'd like, anytime. 99-1039. You can text us. All right, so I don't know if you saw this or not, Emily, but they are rebuilding John Glenn International. Did you see this story?
Nope, sure didn't.
I'm glad they are, too, because they're building a brand new airport. It's going to be amazing.
Okay, so here's my problem. Is everything going to be in the same place as it is now? Because I know exactly where to go.
How could that possibly work? It's Kirsch and Emily, by the way. New Country, fewer commercials. New Country 103.9. Why would they build a brand new airport that's exactly like the current airport?
The way you just looked at me, like I just committed a sin, okay?
If you and your husband were going to go build a house somewhere, like, oh, you know what, we want to move, would you build the exact same house that you live in?
No.
Well, then why would they build an airport that's exactly the same?
Because people don't like change.
Here's what they're going to do. They're going to make a bigger airport that can handle more flights and more people, because the one that's built there right now was built in the 50s when Columbus was like, I don't know, 100,000 people or something. And it's just overwhelmed. Like, it's just not enough airport for what we need for
I
a
get
city.
sad when things change, okay?
So here's what they're going to do. It's going to change into one giant terminal that's going to be beautiful and modern and awesome. There's going to be one security checkpoint, right, which is going to be, I'm sure it's going to be big instead of having to go to A terminal, B terminal, C terminal.
I'm sitting here going, am I really even going to notice a difference? I mean, where are they building it right next door?
You're going to walk in. They're building it right next door, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go, oh, okay. It's the same airport.
Wow,
I'm probably not gonna
this looks
notice
a little different and more shiny and bigger, and it's laid out completely different. Clearly the same
It's
airport.
been a while since I've been here, apparently.
We did this study about the U.S. airports that force you to walk miles between the gates. I've been in every single one of these. And JFK, your top 5. Yeah, JFK, Denver, George Bush, Washington Dulles, and Dallas Fort Worth are the longest distances you have to walk in an airport. I can't believe Atlanta's not on here.
I know. Okay, you know why? Because you have to sprint across that airport.
You don't walk. You run.
That's why it's not on this list.
As hard as you can. But those hallways down in the basement that are all themed different ways in Atlanta, those are awesome. I hope we get those in Columbus.
What? I wouldn't know because I'm always running. Paying attention.
It's awesome. That airport is the worst.
It really is. That's the one that needs redone.
Yes, it does, even though it's fairly brand new.